These are the four biggest mistakes that most people make when ignoring an avoidant ex and how to fix it. The first is ignoring them out of anger instead of indifference. This tends to be where a lot of people struggle with, right? There is a part of you that is so frustrated and angry with this person because you did everything in your power to try to make this person see the love that you have, the commitment, and see the value of you in the relationship. But they just would never allow this avoidant attachment style to be put aside and to actually want to work with you into having a healthy relationship. And on top of all of that, you are probably frustrated with how they are responding to losing you, right? They're probably showing you that they're not bothered, they're hanging out with other people, or in other worst cases, they're in a whole new rebound relationship. And this tends to be where a lot of people will use that anger as motivation to just ignore them. But the problem here is that that anger is only temporary, right? It's a very strong and motivating emotion, but it is going to subside. And when that happens, you tend to go into places where you might reminisce about the relationship or be sad again. And this causes you to reach out to this person, which essentially causes that avoidance to feel like they can continue to be this way and you are always going to be available to them. But when you have indifference, what this essentially means is that you are not going to have any type of emotion that's going to dictate why you are ignoring them. This tends to be a lot more challenging because we are humans, we have emotions, and I'm not saying that you have to go completely blank here and not have any of those, right? It's not realistic, but what you want to try to do is to try to have a neutral emotion about why you're doing this. Number two is staying connected in small ways. This tends to be things that you don't think is a big deal, but is actually a big deal. Things like reaching out to them on their birthday or seeing something on social media and just wanting to check in and make sure they're okay. Those things are all great things to do, but it's so important for you to understand how an avoidant is going to look at this, right? Chances are this person is going to take this as, again, a sign that you are still emotionally connected to them and that you are just going to be available for whenever they're ready to be over this avoidant attachment style and try to work things out with you again. And this can be very challenging for you to actually commit to and not reach out to them or respond when they're doing that. But it's important for you to understand this because how many times have you gone through that where they reach out to you and they say something so small and you respond thinking that you guys are going to have a conversation and then they just ghost you out of nowhere and you're just left thinking like, what was that, right? And again, this is them trying to make themselves feel good about not having a connection to you because when they realize that you're ignoring them or that you haven't reached out in a long time, they want to test the waters to make sure that you are going to be there because they don't want to deal with the reality that they could lose you entirely because there's a part of them that actually does want to be in the relationship with you. So when you do see something like that come up, it's important for you to stay strong and understand that you reaching out to them is only going to make things worse and it's best that you ignore it. Number three is making it obvious that you are ignoring them. I know that a lot of people are trying to have ways to get their avoidant to see that they're ignoring them because they think that the quicker that they can get that avoidant to recognize this, they'll have an epiphany and realize like, hey, like I don't want to lose this person. Oh my God, they're actually being serious about this. Let me try to fix this and work on it. But this is not going to happen that way. They are going to either one, look at this as more of a sign that they need to pull away more because you are still being needy or whatever is causing them to pull away, or two, they feel like, again, they have that connection. They have you on the hook in some way or some form, and they can continue to do this avoidant thing and that you are going to be waiting around for them when they're ready to finally talk with you and work things out again. So it's important for you here to just ignore them for yourself and not do anything to try to make it obvious to them, which leads perfectly into number four, and that is you are ignoring them while secretly waiting for them to come back. I know that this tends to be why people want to ignore their avoidant because they feel like if they can do that, then they will have this, again, realization that they could lose you and it will cause them to want to come back to you because they can see the value of you in the relationship. But the thing is that you can't control this. You don't know how anyone is going to react to anything. And that especially goes when it comes to an avoidant, right? You are dealing with somebody who has a fortress built, which is their avoidant attachment style, which keeps them from having to express and feel unwanted emotions, as well as not having to have other people, project that on them and make them feel those emotions, which they do a really good job at this because they've been this way for a very long time. So while you are ignoring them, thinking that it's only a matter of time before they reach out, they could go months, even years of not reaching out and being okay doing other things with other people, or just, moving on entirely. And this is why it's so important for you to accept this reality. I know that this is the last thing that you want to hear or do, but it's so important for you to do this for yourself. You are ignoring them because it's about you getting the separation from them and figuring out what is best for you. And what typically is best for someone who's dealing with this is to begin to heal and move on from this person entirely. You've done everything that you possibly can to get this person to realize the value of the relationship in you, and they just are not ever going to see that because of this avoidant attachment style. And the more that you stay around waiting for someone like this to figure this out, you are going to cause yourself to even more pain, and you're gonna waste time. So I hope that the biggest thing that you take away from this video is that you need to figure out what's best for you to heal and move on from this avoidant relationship. I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.